Welcome to the Elite Podcast Network, home of the #1 independent wrestling coverage, available on iTunes, Stitcher, blogtalk Radio, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Follow us on Twitter at Elite Podcast Net and join the revolution now. WHRADIO.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Heads Radio. You got Skits, and I'm live here with Oscar and Tom. What is going on, gentlemen?
Oh, we just hit October. A lot of crazy stuff coming up in October. Like, you got Stardom over here in California. You got WWE Hell in a Cell coming over here. Man, also IWO this weekend. You got a lot of stuff.
Santino's.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming out in this month.
And
crazy month.
the East Coast has a hurricane coming my way, so that's what I get. That's what I get beginning of October. But it's really weird to me because time is moving way too quick. It feels like we just started September. It's crazy.
But you guys got SummerSlam. But you guys got SummerSlam the next 2 years out there in New York.
That is true.
Who cares?
We'll talk a little SummerSlam a little later on the show. We actually have a special guest, and I believe first time she was here on Wrestling Heads Radio was like in 2011 or something like that, probably. Maybe 2010. I don't know. I feel like her first podcast was Wrestling Heads Radio, I think. But she's making her return. Miss Allie Parker, what is going on?
Howdy.
How you been?
I'm alive.
It's good to have you here back on the show. We haven't got to see you in a while, and I see you have a lot of stuff coming up in October that we want to talk to you about, and plus some other things.
Yeah. Actually, something you didn't mention, which I was actually surprised you didn't say, Global Force Wrestling is in Vegas this next month, and I will be with the Bollywood Boys doing my dancing skills, you know. Glad that they want me back to dance because I've never had anybody say, hey, we want you to dance again because you're great. No one says that to me, but yeah, these guys were like, hey, let's bring that girl back to dance. Cool, thanks, bud.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I was going to bring up, Global Force Wrestling. You know, it's funny because I actually thought you actually were going to, like, wrestle. I thought, because I know they've been having some girls go down there for their, like, women's division out there. Like, some girls I've seen out here in SoCal were, like, part of their little tournament for their title.
Actually, it's kind of funny because when we were in the back for that, I just got booked as an extra, and somebody introduced themselves, and then they said, oh, this is Allie Parker, but she doesn't wrestle anymore, so don't worry about it. I was like, ew, what if I wanted to wrestle? But I really don't. I want to, like, I mean, I do every once in a while, but I don't want to do as much because I just, you know, but that kind of platform seems too intense for me. Like, I probably wouldn't be able to keep up, and then I don't want to risk it, you know, because they have,
right.
like, I mean, Mickey James was there, and that was a cool show to do.
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. One thing I want to talk to you about, I actually saw on my Twitter timeline. Talk to us about this yoga wrestling.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've mentioned to you, but one of the guys that worked with me, there's actually this silly video from before. It was like a Rocky montage that we created before I debuted. And one of my trainers that was pretty much the main guy that trained me, his name used to go by Tommy Misfit, but now he goes by Thomas Day.
Yeah,
you may know him from SoCal and Hollywood.
Champion Wrestling Hollywood, yeah. I know.
Yeah. So I've always, I've wanted to start this, feminist, but I wanted to be a heel kind of version, yoga, crazy about nutrition and everything. You know, one of those people who are just, super, overwhelming. I wanted to be that. And then I talked to him about kind of doing a, thing now since the kidney thing happened. I can't do as much, so I thought this would be a good thing for us to pair up. And, so we brought some of his yoga buddies, and we started the thing out here, the same thing from Hollywood, where I think we're calling it the Yoga Alliance. So it's me, Tommy Misfit, and his yoga buddies. But it's pretty fun. We were starting off as faces, and then the crowd was booing us. So, yay! But yeah, I was excited because this was the first time I was booed. Yes, finally, people hate me.
Yeah, I was definitely wondering what was going on with that. Now that you explained it to us, looking forward to see what you got going on with that. But I want to hog all the questions here. I'm gonna just go ahead and pass question to Oscar. Go ahead.
Yes. My first question I'd like to ask you, just right now, you say you don't like to do that much wrestling, and you've been doing other, maybe you could say projects. One I've been looking at is that, because I'm an MMA fan, you're kind of doing MMA now, where you wear lingerie while you're fighting. Can you explain about that?
Yeah, and I can see where you don't like the lingerie. I can actually wear.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with
that. All right.
Yeah, this seems like something new. Something new's gonna go down. Okay, it's a new company or something like that, new organization from MMA that the women are gonna be fighting in lingerie. Okay, so I gotta know what's up with this. So maybe you can explain.
Yeah. This company's been around for a bit, actually, and they've had a lot of events before this, but they have had, that was their second event in Las Vegas at a bigger venue. And I don't know how much you know about this, but that last Hard Rock Casino event went insane. They had, me and the girl that I fought ended up on the Sports Illustrated website. All right. We were on what is World Star? It's just crazy.
Oh, World Star?
Yeah.
You're on World Star?
Yeah.
You definitely got to send me that link because I might have passed that one because I'm always on World Star.
I posted it. I will send it to you. It's on my timeline on my Facebook. It'd probably be hard to find now, but yeah, it's I got it from my cousin. She sent me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're on World Star," or whatever it's called, and I was like, "Oh yay! I know that's semi-popular. This is great." But and then we were on BJ Penn's website. A lot of it isn't positive. They're laughing at us because they're like, "Come on," but whatever, man. That's crazy. There's so much attention from that, and whatever. I won too in the first round, so. More on this, it's a lot of let's see, they plan on doing bigger things. So we're some of the girls are training, out here we're training with Mike Modest on some MMA, and it's taken serious because we are doing stuff. There's just rules about punching because a lot of the girls have modeling gigs and stuff, so they actually made a rule where we don't punch in the face, and I think there's specific body shots that you're not allowed to do. So for me, when I was addressing this, I had just finished with my kidney transplant, and I was I wasn't even healed, and I was I don't think I could do MMA, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And they assured me, no, don't worry, this is, basically, it's just the MMA part. There's kind of get rid of the punches for the most part. And I was like, oh, oh, okay. There's no slams and stuff, so that's better for me actually than wrestling because I'm not going to be throwing my body into wood planks anymore, so that's great.
Yeah.
And then, whatever, you get to wear lingerie, so who doesn't love a phenomenal crotch shot, which there are many of my crotch shots all over the internet now. I was like, oh, wonderful. Yeah. But if you notice, like, there's other girls on there, too, like Shelly Martinez, Cheerleader Melissa, Jennifer Thomas.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, where can I see all
I love
this?
those girls, too.
Website? Yeah, can I go to some kind of website or something if I can check this out?
Yeah, well, they changed all our names so that they have the credits to it. So I'm known as Baby Doll, and the other girls, I don't even think they're very close to their real name or their wrestling names. So, but yeah, you can go to Lingerie Championship Fighting or Lingerie Fighting Championship. I believe it's .com. And, you can find it anywhere. But go to the website, look at the roster. There's Mia Yim is on there.
What?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Okay. What else you got on there?
Yeah, well, there's a handful of girls you may know. The chick I wrestled is actually, she hasn't really wrestled very much, but she's in the mix. I like her a lot. That's a girl you guys should keep an eye on for wrestling because she's gorgeous, and once she gets going, you're going to be like, can we get her on? You're going to want her on.
Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, well, I guess I'll look more into this lingerie fight, and it seems you're interesting. And going back to your how you first started, you said you were having second thoughts due to your surgery, and then you kind of explain how it goes. Just do punches. You don't do slams like we see in the UFC or Bellator. But how are you doing right now with your recovery from your surgery?
How hard is what? Like wrestling, or how hard is like what is it like right now?
Well, how are you doing in general right now? Like, are you do you feel like you can say if you want to wrestle a match today, you can do it today, or are you still from a long process from that?
Well, I did debut again, and I had my first match back with Future Stars of Wrestling last month with in Mesquite. It was just one of their shows, but I think if I'm gonna wrestle with the the local things. I'm not gonna really I'm not going for WWE. Obviously, my chances for that kind of stuff is really over. So I'm gonna just do things to help put over other people and just whatever, whenever they need somebody for a rest spot or whatever, that's what I'm going to do. But for the most part, I do want to do the MMA thing, and that's probably going to be where I actually put in the work and that kind of stuff. But as far as my health, from the surgery, after the surgery, I was doing great. I was walking and I was beating my brother pretty much. My brother healed a lot better than me, but I was physically better and moving and really getting good. And then I don't know if you've seen, but I did a podcast with Vince Russo, and in that day is when I started feeling so bad. And I even talk about how it took me hours to get ready, and I couldn't even finish blow drying my hair because I was so sick for that podcast, and I think it was at noon, and it just took me, I had to stop and lay down and sit down, and it was so bad. And that's the day that I woke up with blood all over in my sheet, because it's going to be a little bit of a long story, but what happened was the way they did my surgery is they sewed me from the inside, and then they tried this new thing with glue on the top. Well, the glue burst, and there was in the corner, and there was blood everywhere. It was just squirting out. I talked to my doctor about it, and he was like, well, we have leakage at times. And I'm like, this is not really leakage. So the next day next Monday, after going through this over the weekend, I had gauze over my stomach for so long, like a couple days up until the LFC fight, I had gauze all over me. So I was scared. I was like, man, I don't know if I should do this fight because I'm going to bleed. And that's why I had to wear the one piece. And even Tito said that I was the least sexiest one out there because I was more, well, not sexiest, but the least bearing. I was like the most covered up. But that was for obvious reasons because I had that wound and I didn't want to bleed on people or have, yeah. But anyways, I went into, eventually after that weekend, went into the hospital with my doctor, and he was, I don't know what went through him. He didn't really pay attention, I guess, but he took scissors to my skin and just cut it open and didn't give me numbing or anything. I literally was like crying because I'm a pretty tough girl. I have gone through a lot, but that was just so bad. And then I just think the next day he said he was sorry because he didn't realize he didn't numb it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you're doing surgery on me in front of my face. And he really was. He was digging around and oh my gosh. So then, that was horrendous. That was the worst experience of my life. But from then on, he taught me how to pack my wound. And what that means is you put, when you have a deep wound and you can't have it closed like that, you have to put gauze in it until it heals from the inside out. And so for probably 2 months straight, I had to put gauze all inside of me and have like gauze cover me up. It was really, really it was very I was self-conscious because it made my stomach look even bigger, and but like I said, going into the LFC thing, I was completely closed up and I was happy. I was glad. Yeah. So since then, everything is fine. I've been good. I've had a couple weird moments, but I've talked to the doctor and I'm good. My brother is doing phenomenal. The guy is nonstop out and about and loves life. He can't see very well still due to his diabetes, but it's been good.
Yeah, that's amazing what you did for your brother, and hope you get really better, make it back 100% soon. And I have a lot of questions to ask you, but I just don't want to be hogging you, so I'm going to go pass it to Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I would have to completely agree with Oscar. When I first heard the announcement that you were donating your kidney to your brother, it's one of those things where you just look at it and you know that there's still some good in people because you look at the news and you see all the bad stuff, but then you see something like this, and I think it just cheers everybody up. So I definitely admire that. And when you were telling that gauze story, I can definitely relate 100%. I just had major surgery a couple of years ago where they had to keep gauze in there, so I can definitely relate. But I want to switch to something that was just launched. Your brand new website, AllieParkerWrestling.com. Talk about launching a website. It's a pretty big step for, I think, anybody to do. So talk about wanting to launch this website.
So it's funny you bring that up because I have to give the full credit to Mongol Santino because I never felt like I needed a website ever. I was like, I don't need one. Facebook does everything I need for it. I have pro wrestling tees for my T-shirts. I have whatever. I have everything, all I need. And Mongol was telling Tito that he needs to get a website. And I was like, you don't need a website. You don't have anything. What do you need it for? And then Mongol's like, what are you talking about? He just put it into perspective, and I was like, fine, I'll practice on this because I'm kind of working on another project. So I was like, I'll practice on myself because I have, so much to work with. I have T-shirts and all this stuff. I can actually see what I can do with the website, and then I'll go work on my other project. But then I got obsessed with it. I was like, oh, well, and the problem is it's like my baby, so, if, like, right now it's still not perfect. There's nothing perfect. I'm like, oh, no, I want to tweak this. I want to add this. I want to do this. So it's cool. It's fun because I look at it and I'm like, hey, this is totally me. And my mom even said the same thing. She's like, looks just like you, like everything you love, those colors, the style. And like, I know it is. It's like rustic, but still kind of clean and professional. Well, what I would like it to look like is that. But it's a lot of work, but Google helps when you just Google things on how to do it, and that works. But I love it. I've always been into this kind of stuff, and marketing is definitely one of my things. I just really feel like I need more stuff to put on there because I feel like people are probably pretty bored. I'm all, hey, check out my clip store, and then my T-shirts, because that's all I really have on there. So, but Mongol's the one, like, if you guys haven't met Mongol, or you haven't, I know you guys know him, but...
I met him at Santino. I know you.
That guy is so smart, and he's got like a mean mug all the time, but really, that guy, like, if you can pick his brain about marketing and business, he's brilliant. I love chatting with him, and he's so motivational. Like, he texts me all the time and says, are you up? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, good, go to the gym, do this, do that. And he's like, he's a cool dude. I would definitely become friends with him if he lets you.
Is there something from your website that you would like to get accomplished soon? Because I see, you have 8x10s up there, the link to your pro wrestling tee store. You also have a blog up there with only, a few blogs from a couple months ago. Is there something you want to get up there sooner rather than later? Not something that you kind of want to delay on?
Well, Mongo was pushing me to do videos, and that's what the video photo album is going to be, and I'm working on that. I think I got what I wanted up. I just wanted a place that I could say, okay, go here, and it has everything. So, like, when you're talking about, like, what you do, or, people in podcasts especially, they ask you is there anything you want to tag before you leave? Like, oh, yeah, here's my Twitter, here's my Facebook, here's my Instagram, all these things. If you just go to the one, then it covers everything, and that's kind of what I wanted. It's like, instead of listing all of the things and like, oh, hey, my 8x10s are a big cartel, and then my T-shirts are pro wrestling tees, it's too complicated sometimes. So to me, this has like been so much less of a headache. Like, hey, this is perfect. But I do want to get what I'm working on is, and I want to touch on this a little bit because I feel like people give this such a bad name, but like custom wrestling. I started my own custom.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I started my own, which is hosted, and I'm going to admit this, it's hosted on a fetish porn site, but nothing I'm doing is porn or fetishy. It's just because I really couldn't find any other website that actually does what they do. So if there was like a non-one like that, hey, that'd be great, and I would use that. But I actually searched, and there's nothing. So eventually I plan on filling my own clips on my website. So that's probably the next thing I'm going to do, is actually put the videos up and sell them there. But there's a lot. The reason why I want to fill these matches, because they are hilarious. Like, I have one coming up that I don't even want to tell anybody about yet because it's been like my dream match. But it also says how stupid I am. And I can't wait to do it. We're going to do it in New England. But there's, like, times that, like, I've done these matches with some of the girls, and we are just dying. Like, it's just so ridiculous, and it's so fun. Those are the matches that I have some of the best times with, because you're just like, what am I doing right now? This is great. And I feel like some of them that I have up there are not that, but there are some. Like, there's a match with Taylor Hendricks, Mary Elizabeth Monroe, and myself, and we were all rosebuds, and we're basically in a match because we want to be the best rosebud. I mean, just stupid matches with my friends, and I like them, and if people want to watch them. There are times I've never even done a show with Mary Elizabeth and Taylor Hendricks that has never actually happened before, so sometimes, maybe people want to see that match, So custom wrestling isn't all, like, naked. It can be, but I think that sometimes it gets a bad rap, and I just want to be the advocate for that and say, look, don't hate it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to look into more of this custom wrestling, because I was reading it and it had like prices on the side. I'm like, what is this? You know, like it said for 5 minutes singles match $150. I thought that's how much you were charging at first. So I'm like, I have no clue what this is. And I'll ask her.
That's for if you are wanting to purchase a match. So if you came up, like, a lot of people have their dream match, and so for instance, like, I don't know, say if somebody I've never wrestled before, I can't think of anybody, but maybe someone from SoCal or whatever, and you always wanted to see it, and no promoters have booked it. We can make that happen. We can see, hey, can you come out and we'll do a match together, and you basically pick who wins. You're the booker, basically. So that's the cost for putting on a match, basically.
Interesting. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to look into that more when we get off air. I'll go back on your website and check it out. But I want to talk about, I know on October 16th, Friday, October 16th, you have Ground Zero Wrestling, new beginning. Talk to us about what role will you be playing in that show?
For FSW?
Ground Zero.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Oh, I'm actually not booked on that. I think, I'm not booked on that.
Oh, I saw it on your Facebook, so I thought you were booked on there for some reason.
No, that's okay. I'm doing, so the end of the month I was going to be in Louisiana, but that might change because of something else coming up. So I don't really know yet. It's not confirmed yet, but that.
But I do see something that I did want to talk about.
What do you got for me?
You and Barbie Hayden will be facing against each other at RCW. Talk to us about that.
Well, that's the one I was just talking about. It may or may not happen, but that chick is awesome. She's been talking about possibly moving to Vegas with me, and if that happens, she's going to be all over SoCal. Like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, she's awesome. I definitely can see her going places. So you guys definitely, if you can get her, if she ever comes out to California, go check her out. She's great. She's so fun to work with. She's insanity. Her and I, the second we got in the car together, just clicked, and we were like besties ever since we met. So
it's crazy because I see her all the time on Tessa Blanchard's Periscope. I think they're good friends. I think they were in Japan together or something like that.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her some of her stuff, and I'm surprised that you guys are that close. And if she does move with you, oh well. I mean, that sucks that AWS is taking a little break, but hey, Santino's hit her up.
Yeah. Right? Well, if that's the case, she's going to, that girl's going to go places. She's great. She's such a fun, nice girl. I enjoy her. Can't say enough great things about her.
Yeah, definitely. I know you mentioned that you were going to, if one of your local promotions needed your help, you would, work with them. There's a possibility we'll see you back down here in SoCal.
I don't know, because there's not much for me out there. I would like to do Hollywood again, but there's no there's no Sutton family right now, so that. But I don't really know. I mean, if someone wants to use me as something, there was a talk about me doing the AWS show, but I couldn't make it. Not wrestling, just being a part of it. But I couldn't make it. So, yeah. Who knows? You know, I think that it's kind of just more like fading to the back and doing like, you know, redirecting really.
Right.
Like seeing, probably not wrestling. I would like to do ref spots and ballet, but I feel like SoCal has it themselves all figured out and they don't really need anybody else, it seems like. I don't know. Or they don't need a princess. They're like badass girls out there. They're not really into like girly girls, I guess.
I mean,
true.
I mean, I can accept, you know, Miss Parker. You know, it's all good. If any promotion out there is listening, do whatever you can do just to get her back out here in SoCal because she has some fans out here too. You also mentioned you have more projects coming out. Did you want to talk to us about those projects? Because you really didn't go full detail on the projects that you have coming up.
Well, sure. I've been working on starting a podcast, and it's going to be more comedy. Everything I want to do is more comedy based. So it's going to be wrestling related, but hilarious nonetheless. And I'm not going to make you guys, you know, like give you a run for your money. I'm going to just bow down and let you guys take take the lead. But in a close second, my podcast will be there. But yes, the problem is I want to like work out the right people involved and stuff like that, and then I'm just waiting for the best time. I'm still trying to get over a few things, and like I'm trying to calm down, but I have so many bookings. I'm literally out of town almost every weekend, doing like traveling for wrestling, and that's it really. It's crazy, and I'm trying to not work. That's the funny part. I'm trying to not do wrestling, so it's like when it slows down, then I'll focus on that. But I'm also working on, like I said, the custom wrestling thing, which is quite a handful of. It's difficult to get started. I work with New England Female Wrestling, which is a custom company out in New England, and they have like really cool chicks. Like who did they just have? Eva Lees was there with Havoc and like all these people. And I know that they're getting someone else, but I can't tell you who. But they have some really great names that they have these girls wrestling. It's just awesome. So I really like working with them and helping out, you know, with the marketing and stuff like that with them. But yeah, and then the LFC is another thing. That's like a whole nother project in itself because I have to like get better at MMA, and so I have to be in the gym and like I just got a lot I have to like keep up with, you know.
Right. It seems like you're more into being a business woman right now, since you mentioned marketing. So, real quick though, would you like to take a call? Because there's actually a caller on hold. I'm not sure if they have a question for you.
Sure. I'm a little afraid, but yeah. And
this is a local caller, 323. I'm about to put you on air, so be ready to talk when I unmute you. 323, you're live on Wrestling Heads Radio. Who's speaking?
How you doing?
Hello?
Yes.
How's it going,
how
sir?
are you?
I'm pretty good. Yourself?
Did you have a question?
Well, I just tuned on. What was the topic besides wrestling?
Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. I know exactly who that is.
Thanks a lot, sir. I know you too.
I'm sorry about
that,
Allie Parker.
What did he say?
He was trying to talk like he's trying to imitate Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what he's trying to do.
That had to have been the worst Stone Cold impression I've ever heard in my life.
Hold on.
Oh my god.
Just to move on.
But what did he say though? I didn't hear him.
He said he basically just called. He didn't know what was going on. So.
Oh. Did he say we were talking about wrestling?
Yeah, he said, "What's the topic besides wrestling?"
Yeah.
Oh.
But before we just move on, let's just say that, you know, if our listeners, please, if you really have a question for Allie Parker, please call. Just don't be an idiot.
No, you can be an idiot. It's funny if you're an idiot. I don't mind it. It's silly.
Remember skits when we had B-Boy on here? Somebody was like, "Hey, B-Boy, remember me when we used to work at Quintos together?" And B-Boy was like, "What the hell?"
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think when we had Check Covert on, somebody was like, "Hey, can we talk TNA for a second?" And what the hell? So it's something crazy. It's not the first time it's happened. So.
Yeah, it's some funny people out there.
Yeah.
Before
have them call in and tell a joke. We should have that, but a clean, friendly joke.
Now, I got something funny to say about this one. Like when we had Jacob Burr on, somebody actually called, was actually a female, asking him that if he ever had sex before a wrestling match.
Jeez Louise. And what did he say?
That is a true story.
Yeah, that was a true story. And he just said, I think that was his girlfriend, but he just answered, well, no, I never did, but I never really thought of that. But yeah, something like that.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah. Yep.
Hey, you know what? You can't blame people. They want to know what they want to know. And if they're really interested, maybe that lady was really like, he's so hot, I need to know this. Maybe that's where she was at and she wanted to know. And Che just changed her life that way.
Yeah, right.
If I was calling into any podcast or Rousey was on there, I would definitely ask what's good before a match. So, yeah.
Oh, boy.
She'll probably murder me, though.
Oh, yeah.
But it's crazy though, Allie, because I remember back, when True God, when me and him were on Wrestling Heads, and we had Sway Thompson on with you, and it's crazy because now I see Sway like all the time out here in SoCal, and I remember when you showed up at Championship Wrestling Hollywood, I was like, oh shit, this shit is really happening. Like folks that had on the podcast that are not local or like coming to SoCal. I was pretty pumped about that, and I see you guys are doing big things now.
Yeah, he's actually Sweet Thompson's doing pretty good. I noticed he's all over the place now, so that's good for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the question on. I believe Oscar, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you something about what's going on with the world of women wrestling as of late. The Divas Revolution going on in the WWE, there's some ups and downs to it, but I kind of feel like it's kind of affecting women all over the place, meaning like they're getting more opportunities. Like, for example, it's like today, women's wrestling, it's not like women are in wrestling no longer viewed as eye candy anymore. Not like 15 years ago where you see matches like bra and panty matches, lingerie matches. That's pretty much, that's pretty much in the past. Now people would like to see like 15-minute matches, 20-minute matches on either on NXT or Raw. And speaking about NXT, next week a women's match is going to main event at a big NXT show. And now women, and also Ring of Honor, it looks like they're going to start a women's division. They just made a Twitter of it, too. So I just want to ask you, what's your thoughts of women, or maybe the Divas Revolution, affecting women all over of wrestling?
Well, these girls are awesome. A lot of, I don't know if you know this, but I got to wrestle Bayley before she actually went to NXT in her last match. Yeah. And, I got to actually see her win the belt in New York. And that was, crazy. Because, like you said, you see people moving up and getting somewhere. And I did the same thing with her. It's, insanity to see people you've worked with and you've known, and then they make it. You're like, what? That's just so awesome. So I saw Leva Bates getting huge cheers over in New York, and she's not even signed. She's got a T-shirt in NXT. She's not even signed yet. So these girls have done so much, and they're awesome, and they're talented for sure. But I also, there's a flip side to that. What I liked about the women in wrestling was the old school wrestling, the damsel in distress, the Miss Elizabeths. Those are the girls that I liked. And yeah, I'd probably still like these girls now, but to me, that's what I remember women's wrestling as. Like, bra and panty is like what I remember. And, you know, I don't like that they take it away, because we're in an age now where, like, women want to be equal, and that's the same thing with wrestling. They want to just be equal. And you see a lot of women independent wrestlers complaining about divas, quote unquote, and how being a diva is such a bad thing and being a girly girl is a bad thing. That's why there's so many badasses right now. But it's like, there's a spot for everybody. There's a spot for girly girls. There's a spot for divas. There's a spot for badasses. There's a spot for these high flyer, crazy chicks that can do all these things. But you
like
don't
Candace?
need everybody. Huh?
Like Candace, like doing crazy
Yes.
things, like
yeah,
Bucks, doing crazy shit to her.
Brilliant, that girl. She's crazy. I don't know how she's not signed. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't need to put someone else down because of what they are. Like, I think the bra and panty stuff is fun to me, and I would not even be opposed. I mean, I would do a bra and panty match, just no one's ever booked it, because I think that they feel like I'd be offended. But I'm more on that lane. Like, let's do comedy, let's do bra and panty, let's do that stuff. I'm okay with it. I'm definitely not a high flyer. I'm barely off the, like, second rope. I'm like, okay, here we go, you know, but there are those girls that's what they do, you know, and they're amazing at it. But I also think that they tear down, like, girls that aren't at their level, and it's not really fair sometimes, because this is more on the indies. I think that there's a little bit of hatred towards the princess girls and things like that. But one, you need somebody to put you over, first off, and two, there is a fan base for that. So why would you not even ever tap into that, you know?
I kind of understand what you're saying. Like, there's something for each girl. Like, for instance, Olana, you know, she's more of a manager. She's an eye candy. Like, guys like watching the sideline. You know, some of her sideline, they're like managers. Guys like that, you know. And you got girls like Sasha Banks, who's out there putting on the best women's match. You know, you have Charlotte. You know, basically, there's something for each girl, is what you're saying. I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going back with the, you know, how everything is, I'm kind of glad, you know, women's getting more seriously. Like, hey, back when I was in high school, I mean, the whole bra and panty thing, Fable going on Playboy, it was cool. I mean, yeah, but now I'm just hit 30, and maybe, you know, now these days I understand the sex appeal, I mean, or the sexual contact ain't no longer in wrestling anymore, but, you know, but it's great to see these women getting opportunity doing other things. And another thing I want to ask you, I don't know if you heard this interview from Charlotte, but her goal is to have a women's match to main event WrestleMania. Can you actually vision that? Or can you see that is even possible that ever see a women's match main event WrestleMania?
Yeah, definitely. And we're coming to the point where that's going to happen for sure. Especially when you put it out there like that, you're going to have all the people who are like, well, we're going to protest about it, and they want that. So it's going to happen for sure. It's just going to have to be, you know, the best of the best. I wouldn't doubt Bayley being one of those people later on down the road.
Yeah, I mean,
she's awesome.
That would be sweet. Yeah, that would be sweet, but I mean, if it ever happens, that would be cool, but it's pretty much up to them to make it happen. I mean, and look, their next week is going to be main event and a takeover, so who knows down the road. But
that's
yeah.
one step.
Yeah, that's one step.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go pass it on to Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I actually have a question, not to do with wrestling at all, nothing to do with wrestling. I kind of want to get away from that for a second. Obviously, because of the major surgery, I know what it's like. You have a lot of time on your hand where you watch movies and TV shows that you thought you never would have. So what's something when you were recovering that you stumbled upon that you never thought you would have? Like, what's some odd TV show or odd movie that you started watching? Just something like on that.
First off, I just want to say I love that you asked this question because everybody usually asks the same questions, and I am always challenging people to come up with weird stuff. So thank you. This is great. Man, I don't really know. I think I slept a lot, and my aunt and uncle, we were living with them. Me and Ryan were staying with them because they were our caretakers, and they always watch weird stuff anyway, like sci-fi stuff, and I don't ever watch sci-fi. So 90% of the time I was like, what is on? I had no idea. But I really feel like there was a show that I started. Oh, you know what? I did start something. What is that? Orange is the New Black. I started that.
That's my show.
Yeah, that's a good show. I stopped in the middle of season 2, but that's just because I got busy. And it was kind of like, I was starting to lose interest. But I heard season 3 is good.
Actually,
yeah,
you know what?
I've been hearing the same thing, and the funny thing is that, you know, when I think about your surgery, obviously getting a kidney removed is something really, really major. And I think about my time recovering and compared to yours. And, you know, people ask me all the time because I was in the hospital for a while. And listen, hospital TVs, there's nothing on there. There's nothing on there, people. So I'm glad we have Netflix now. I'm glad we have Netflix like that. But, it was just something that kind of just popped in because when you're recovering, I don't think people realize how slowly time moves because you're sitting there, you're tired, you have no energy. Were there any other things that you were kind of doing to pass the time or kind of make the day kind of move on a little bit quicker?
Yes. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And what's the sad part about that is I had a major dramatic issue like a couple days to a week after my surgery. So I was always on social media, and oh my goodness, and I couldn't, the timing for everything was so bad, and it just social media is what I spent my time on, and it wasn't positive. So getting back, I have to tell you, my turning point was being able to go to the gym. They actually said, yes, you need to go to the treadmill and walk. And once the day I got on the treadmill and walked, I felt 10 times better. And then I kind of, got busy with the gym, and I didn't worry so much about the social media. But, man, let me tell you, that was rough. I would stalk Facebook all day, just like, what's someone doing? Please tell me someone's doing something. And it was so ugly. I never want to live like that again because I was watching everyone else live, and I wanted them to do things so that I could feel like, so I could have something to look at. And it was terrible.
Oh, it's funny you say that because I completely 100% agree with it. I remember just sitting on Twitter, and I'm just waiting. I'm like, can someone do something interesting? Can someone get arrested? Come on, someone get arrested. And it's just like,
no,
wow,
what would be dope?
I'm a terrible person. But that's just about it. Like I said, I can't tell you the respect I have for what you did. It's a tremendous thing. I admire it 100%, and I've seen so much support of it as well. So I'm hoping for the best for you going forward, no matter what you do. So I wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Definitely. Allie, I'm going to say right now, as soon as you start your podcast, you got full support over here. Retweet, whatever you need, got your back.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Allie, before we let you go, I want to let the folks know that are listening, your website and all the good stuff that they can find, and be shows that they can find you at coming up this month.
Sure. My website, where you can find all of this information and more, is AllieParkerWrestling.com. And it's ALLIE Parker, PARKER Wrestling. I'm sure you know how to spell wrestling.com. And yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have everything under the sun. And what I have upcoming, Global Force Wrestling. I'm going to do the Bollywood Boys dancing entrance. And then other things to be continued. I cannot announce the others. And I don't remember what else I have after that.
Hey, real quick before we let you go, wasn't that match with Rick Knox and Justin Crazy?
Oh, my gosh. I was like, what? This is very dangerous. I'm so glad. I don't know if you guys are getting in trouble for, like, viewing, like recording it, but I was like, please keep recording. I'm at work and I'm bored and I want to, like...
Yeah.
It was late.
You know, everybody and their mama recorded that night. I guess because it was the last show. Which was recording.
You know what?
But
because usually I don't do it because, you know, Bart always... I always ask Bart for permission, like, hey, can I record this and that? And he said, as long as it's not in the matches, I'm all good with it. And then Skit's over here, he never told Skit's anything, but I was like, all right, well, if Bart said anything to you, it's all on you, man. So, I
saw like six people recording. Somebody had a camcorder out, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm periscoping.
If Bart said something to us, I'd be like, hey, there's some other people recording, and none of your security guards need to do nothing about it. So that's on you, buddy. So
between you guys and Opie, those are the two I could like watch the show from. I was like, okay, all right.
Oh, Opie.
He was recording too.
Shout out to Opie, by the way.
Right? She's in Vegas now. BTW.
I know. And we gave Willie Mack a shirt, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Maybe we should give you one of our shirts.
You were supposed to.
That was me.
I know.
That was me you were talking to. I'm gonna get your size because we kind of ran out of sizes. We ran out of tees over here.
Yeah, a lot of people love our tees, and we're getting a new one pretty soon. So maybe we'll give you one of our new ones.
Okay, I'll definitely wear it, so, yeah. I have to say, Willie Mack is the best commentary on wrestling ever. He was at the Big Valley Wrestling show this last weekend, and I'm standing with him and Opie, and he is just the funniest guy to listen to. He's like, go, ref! I'm like, what? Willie's just, like, giving this ref a hard time, like, major hard time. He's definitely a heckler.
Yeah, I rode the car with him before a couple of times, and yeah, he has some funny stories. Said something about famous B, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to say the N-word so many times. So yeah.
Yeah. He's funny.
Oh shit. Well, yeah. Me and Oscar, we plan on coming down to Vegas next year because Ring of Honor is doing a show. Maybe we'll run into.
Who's doing the show? I'm sorry.
It was he said Ring of Honor, and hopefully if you guys do a lingerie fight the same weekend as Ring of Honor, we'll sure plan to head out there.
I do know, and I'm not going to like give anything major away, but I do know Lingerie Fighting Championship is going to be in California next year, and it's already set, so it's going to be Super Bowl weekend.
Okay.
Get ready.
I'm going to go on your Facebook and Twitter every day so I can hear. You know what? I'm going to put you on alert on my Twitter just in case you retweet or something so I can find the date. So I'm going to get ready. I'm ready to
let you know.
Whatever. Let us know. DM us, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And then you could just, like, say, hey, so update, guys. Allie Parker is going to be here then.
Right?
Yeah,
maybe hopefully we'll have shirts then for her.
We'll definitely be on the look for that. And, make a trip to Vegas and turn up.
Well, you got to do it with all the guys. Come out when there's a big show, SoCal group of guys. Come visit and hang out.
Yeah.
Sure. Definitely sounds like a plan.
Yeah, me and Skips, we had fun in Vegas last time, so we're planning to do it again. So.
Well, I guess we'll let you go, Allie, and hopefully we get you back on the show soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and tell Tito we say what's up.
I'll let him know.
All right, I'll say what's up to my Santino's in.
Well, yeah, I'll tell him that you guys are interested in having him on. He'll say, no way, they don't want me on.
We got to get him on before that big Santino show so we can talk about that big tag match that he's going to be in.
Right, that's going to be a good one.
Speaking of Tito, what happened on my AWS? Wasn't he supposed to be there?
He had a family emergency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
he was
All right.
supposed to be there.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right, bye, Allie.
Good night now.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Allie Parker, good friend of WHRADIO. It's crazy because, like I said, like I remember when she was on WHRADIO on our channel back when her and Sway Thompson both came on. A lot of folks weren't familiar with them, and all of a sudden they you see Allie Parker show up at the Champion Wrestling Hollywood, and then Sway Thompson, he's out here doing big things, you know, in SoCal, working with Brian Kendrick's promotion, and you know, it's definitely a good deal for both of them, and it was a pretty good time to talk to her.
Yeah, and you know what? Fucking, I am really got this fucking lingerie fight things in my head right now, so I really gotta check this shit out.
Definitely. Tom?
And shout out to Danny Limelight. He's putting our link out there about last week's show with Eli.
Danny Limelight, the reason why we put the link out there because he was mentioned.
Yeah, I know.
anytime someone gets mentioned, they throw the link out. They'll be like, oh, I got mentioned, throw the YouTube link out, Stitcher, all the links. But yeah, like I said, I say it every time.
But definitely shout out to Danny though.
Yeah, shout out to Danny, shout out to Eli, shout out to Allie Parker. We always get great guests. I say it every time, but like I said, yeah, I'm always a little hesitant how these interviews go, even though we've done a ton of them. It doesn't matter, but each time, you know, got great guests coming on, great conversations. And, you know, half the time they don't even feel like interviews. It's just, you know, chatting about wrestling and life and all that bullshit. So it's great stuff.
It's basically shooting the shit.
It is Thursday. Well, technically Friday here.
Real quick, how about let's take a quick break? I'm not sure how Blog Talk Radio has been treating you guys with these commercials lately, but I'm gonna hit the one, and I know it's probably gonna work. And yeah, I think we should take a break. We're right back after these messages. I swear, I am sick of Blog Talk Radio. Why is Blog Talk Radio such a fuckery? Like, I swear, it is such a fuckery. It makes people botch on purpose on some dumb shit. But I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, we'll be right back.
What's up? This is the phenomenal AJ Styles down here in LA, kicking it with the PWG, busting my tail. Freaking great tournament, the bowler tournament is freaking amazing. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, everybody and anybody needs to listen to Wrestling Head Podcast.
Good afternoon, this is England's Zack Sabre Jr. and when I'm not drinking tea and hanging out with the Queen, I am always listening to Wrestling Heads Radio. Cheerio.
All right. I got a couple of announcements before we start. I actually have a special guest calling, a friend from PW Partners, Sierra. She's going to be calling up in a bit, but before she calls up, I have a couple announcements. So, on October 14th, here on WHRADIO, 11:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 11:30 East Coast Time, making her debut here on Wrestling Heads Radio. She will be part of the Stardom USA show. Miss Brittany Wonder will be coming on Wrestling Heads Radio. Definitely looking forward to having her. I had a chance to interview her on the Weekly podcast. It probably was Indie Power Rankings, but I definitely was on there.
Power Rankings. I remember me and you did it, and we were talking about that AWS Wrestling Cares event. I remember. We're both part of it, and with Matthew Grant. So. Yeah.
Also, October 8th, here on Wrestling Head at 9:50 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 a.m. East Coast Time, making his return on Wrestling Heads Radio, Joe Chaos will be on here as we talk about his matchup with Brian Kendrick at Santino's Dojo. So, it's not even at the dojo, it's actually in Southgate, where AWS has their shows. So, and,
Joey Chaos.
One more I want to throw out before I get your thoughts. And in case you guys forgot, Thunder Rosa will be coming here on Wrestling Heads Radio. She's excited. I talked to her at AWS. She'll be coming on the same day as
Get you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
Like I was saying, Thunder Rosa will be on here the same day as Joey Chaos, but she'll be on at 8:30. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah, Joey Chaos, he was, we had him on like 2 years ago, and, I'm interested to have him back on, and, he's having a big Santino show against Brian Kendrick for the title, and we just had a contract signing last show, and it's going to be very interesting, and, I'm glad to have him back on. When we first had him on, how Santino's was back then where, they just have shows every Thursday, just having a few matches, and it would cost like $8 to go in, and now how Santino's, how they stepped up, and now look where it is now. They're doing bigger venues, so, you gotta give these guys props.
Definitely, dude. I can't wait till we talk about that Big Santino's event. Definitely looking forward to it. I'm kind of skipping somebody's birthday get together to go to this event. But I got some news for those that do not know. Stardom USA, as you guys all know, they'll be coming down here to SoCal this month, and they've added some girls on the card. And some of these girls I'm very excited to see. Mia fucking Yim has been confirmed. She will be part of Stardom USA, so looking forward to finally see Mia Yim live and in action for the first time. So, you guys' thoughts on Mia Yim been at it?
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. I'm glad she's coming as Mia Yim, not Jade, but I think she can. Well, it depends. We haven't had a card yet, but I'm pretty sure she can get in the ring with anybody. She could put up a good match with anybody in that roster, even the names you haven't announced yet. But I'm glad to have her on. Not have her on. She's gonna be on the show, and I'm glad to see her too. Too bad we didn't see her at that Shimmer show where we're at WrestleMania weekend over there in the Bay Area. So if I get the opportunity to see her, and can't wait to see her, and hopefully probably meet her.
Yeah, just like I mentioned, Brittany Warner's going to be there. Looking forward to that. We usually get to see her when she's booked at AWS, and I know we all know she does work with Hood Slam too. So pretty excited to see her on the show too. It's just one thing. Most of these girls that have been added, most of these girls wrestle each other a lot. I want to see these girls probably go against some of the girls that wrestle and Stardom on the regular basis. Another person has been added, Nicole Savoy. Shout out to Nicole Savoy. I'm a huge fan of her work. She'll be part of Stardom USA also. And last but not least, Datura. I'm surprised. Datura just got added. We see Datura out here in SoCal a lot, so I'm looking forward to that too.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe they're planning to have something big for her. I mean, I know she's done shows in Mexico and then around this area in California, but maybe, who knows? If she's good enough to hang with Japan, maybe then hopefully she can hang with the chicks. But we'll see. I mean, I'm happy for her to get booked for this show, and we'll see what happens. We'll see who should go to book her against for those two shows.
Yeah, it's. I think we have the guest who I was telling you who's gonna call Sierra. I believe that's her. So let's put her on real quick because I know she's looking forward to the show too. Sierra, what's going on?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, just making sure because I wasn't sure. How's it going?
Everything's good. We're over here talking about Stardom USA. We're pretty excited. We're going to be at the Sunday show. Being Oscar here, we want to be able to make both shows. And I saw, you were tweeting about the show, and I believe you write also about some of the ladies in professional wrestling today. Tell us who you're excited to see that just got added on the Stardom USA tour, and what do you usually write about, like when it comes to the roundup?
I'm actually excited that all the girls that's been added is added to the show, like Brittany Wonder for one. I've been saying for years that Brittany Wonder is very underrated, and if anybody's watched her match from Gold Rush Pro, she should be booked more often, especially outside of the California area. And Nicole Savoy is just great, and Datura is kind of also underrated, or you don't hear much talk of her often. And so I'm just like curious of how the mix-up is going to be. I figured they were going to do Datura versus Starfire, who works for Stardom, but Starfire is another luchador, but she's currently injured. So I don't think that match is happening since she's got a knee injury and might be out for the rest of the year. So when it comes to the roundup, I write the Ring Bounce Roundup on Pro Wrestling Ponderings. I post it every Wednesday, and I cover everything that there is to do with women's wrestling. I cover what's going on here in North America, over in Europe, over in Japan, Mexico, if there's any news from Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, WWE, TNA, just everything. I got results. I give you the news, the matches, the upcoming matches, and I write big stories of the week of, like, this week I previewed Shine 30, which is tomorrow night, and I also previewed Girls Night Out 16, which is Saturday. So those are the things I do every week. It's a lot, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. We were just talking to Allie Parker, and I believe Oscar he said, like, women's wrestling right now is basically evolving. I mean, he kind of mentioned, like, how the whole Divas Revolution is kind of helping a lot of women in professional wrestling. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. It's to me, it's helping bring attention to it. But it's been, in the past year or so, it's becoming more and more, prevalent on the indie scene, and you're starting to really see more of the women in matches, getting opportunities, and I think the Divas Revolution has really just made people actually go, there is something going on. We really need to pay attention, and a lot more people are catching on. So, yeah, I kind of agree with that, but then again, it's been going on for so many years. It's just now becoming more and more in demand.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if Oscar or Tom wanted to talk to you a little bit about women's wrestling. Gentlemen?
Well, you put it out there for me. Like, I already asked Allie Parker about the women and stuff, and now let me ask you something. I don't know if you saw the Twitter, but Ring of Honor just made a Twitter for Women of Honor, and it looks like they are going to make a women's division. Well, they had one before, but now they're going to bring it back. What's your thoughts of that?
As I said to the guys at Pro Wrestling Ponderings this week, I'm still hesitant with it because I like Ring of Honor. I like their product, and I've always liked years ago when they would have those women's matches with your Sarah Del Rey's, your Daisy Hayes, your Mischiefs, and, your Lacey's. I always liked those matches because I always thought they were different. It was a different style from what I was getting used to watching on the WWE product every week, which was, either Mickie James, Trish Stratus, the same girls in the same match every week. It was different. But for so many years, they just neglected even having Women of Honor. They even neglected even mentioning that, there was a time that the women weren't just valets or managers for somebody, that they actually were getting in the ring. And so it's kind of like, I'm just like, I'll watch it and see if it's going to be any good, but I can't sit up and actually get too excited about it because just knowing that this could be just a fad for right now. They're seeing all the attention that this Divas Revolution stuff is getting, on the internet and stuff. They might want to tag their names to it, but they got a lot of cool girls that's involved with it. I just hope it actually works out for them.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I see the girls that they have booked. Cherry Bomb is like the only one that I'm more interested in than the rest. Yeah, I've seen Veda Scott in action, out here in Cali. And I wasn't too impressed with what I saw. I know she can, wrestle. She's like pretty decent. I'm not a big fan of Taylor Hendricks. I've seen that she was part of the Women of Honor. I mean, it would be nice if they add girls like Candice LeRae or like a Kimberly or something like that. I mean, girls like that. I think it will probably help the Ring of Honor's women's division.
Well, here's the thing. They can add anybody they want to. They can go and get every girl out of the Shimmer and Shine locker room and employ them. It's the same thing I say about WWE and TNA. They can hire every single one that we all could say is great workers, but if they're not going to give them the time, it's not going to work. The fans are going to make their own decision in their head, and that's the thing with Ring of Honor. It's, I think a lot of people are excited about it, but at the same time, people are skeptical. They don't know if to take this serious. This could be one of those situations like they do with the New Japan talent. It's here, it's there, and it's gone for a minute. And it comes back, it's here, it's there, and it's gone for a minute. It could be one of those situations.
Do you think a lot of the hardcore kind of Ring of Honor fans may be opposed to this because it's something that wasn't built into Ring of Honor since day one? This is something that's relatively new. So do you think a lot of the hardcore fans are going to be kind of against this because it's not what they've seen in Ring of Honor since they began?
Of course. Anything that they don't believe that was a part of the establishment from the beginning of time, they're going to nitpick it. I'm not sure, but I think when they first started having the Women of Honor matches, I don't even remember them calling them Women of Honor, years ago, when they would have those matches with your Sarah Del Rey's and stuff like that. That was all through their relationship with Shimmer back then, because Dave Prazak was working with the company then. But I kind of remember, some of the nitpicking on message boards of, so-and-so's match could have been, 10, 15 minutes longer. Why would they throw this match out here nobody cares about? But I feel like they're going to nitpick it, especially since they've gotten used to the television product of not having women besides, Maria Kanellis out there with her butt out and, Veda Scott and then sometimes seeing Mandy Leon, they're not used to seeing them actually in the ring.
Yeah, like basically all I see is Mandy Leon is like the girl that promotes the guys matches and like interviews somebody in the backstage. Is like when I see her in the ring, like am I gonna take her serious? She's beautiful. That's all I see as a guy. But I don't know if I could take her serious. In the ring. But we'll see what happens with this whole Women of Honor. Quick question. I mean, I know we really haven't talked to you about anything with the WWE product / NXT. What girl in the WWE that you're like you like? Even what guy too?
Girls currently, that one's kind of like a sticky situation because I kind of like what's going on, and I've been dissatisfied with the storyline that's going on with this Divas Revolution thing. The only one that stands out to me and actually is like drawing my allure is Sasha Banks, and it's for me. What's really drawn me to her for the past maybe 2 years is just watching how she went from being this cute baby face, that was doing all this high flying and became this underdog, and then it just took that one backstage segment where Summer Rae sits her down in the mirror and puts those glasses on her and tells her, "You're the boss of NXT," and just seeing her the next week become this it was just like a whole nother person. And at the time, I was skeptical if this gimmick was going to be something that people gravitate to or if it was just going to be something that just stinks and then eventually they release her. But over time, it's really worked, and it's worked out wonders for her because she's still a heel and people like her, but it's not one of those typical heels of where people think she's cool, so let me be down with everybody else and say I like her. She's a heel and she's great in the ring, and people actually have respect for her and can see her as the boss of NXT. And to me, that transformation from the underdog and the girl that was pretty much pushed to the background to become, in people's eyes, the boss, the one that
it's crazy that you mentioned that. Cause I remember, when Sasha Banks, I was like, who is this chick? I hated her. But then when she changed her whole gimmick, you got to see more of her in the ring, her actually wrestle. You're like, okay, I actually like this girl.
Yeah, and she became, it's crazy. When I see fans get mad that they don't see her on Raw and stuff like that during segments and stuff, and I'd be like, isn't that crazy? She's not only seen as the boss of NXT, the main girl in NXT, but she's seen as the main girl out of the Divas division. That's completely amazing that the character work that they've done with those kids down in NXT has really worked wonders. And just the pizzazz she puts on her character, from just her outfit, the rings, the glasses, just her attitude.
Legit boss.
Really, yeah, she really lives that persona, and it's if they were to give that gimmick to anybody else in NXT, I would not believe it.
Yeah, I could see that. What did you think of WWE signing Kana, now known as Asuka? What was your reaction to that whole thing? Because we haven't seen a Japanese Joshi wrestler in WWE since Bull Nakano in the 90s.
I actually was. I was actually shocked because I've been following Kana since, I want to say maybe 2008 at the most. I found her through, I was doing just research on Joshi's, and I came across her, and I remember at the time she had this red hair, kind of like how she does now. And I just remember wow, she looks a little bit different. And over time, I really, gravitated towards her, and I really just became to, embrace her as, one of my favorites. And it has to do with, one, her presence. When you see her in the ring, when she steps out there, it's you just know it's just going to be completely awesome. And I don't get that much from, many women's wrestlers. I'll see, somebody I'll be oh, it's going to be a good match. But, to be excited when I first see you, that's a lot. And so from that, and then a lot of her style kind of like reminded me of, Akira Hokuto, who's like one of my all-time favorites. And then, she has a little bit of a Bull Nakano, who's another one of my favorites, and, a little bit of Mima Shimoda, who I love to death. So just seeing like so many elements of her that remind me of people I love, and then over the years just watching her become more and more theatrical with the face paint, the colors in her hair, her ring gear, the style and stuff she does in the ring. It's completely amazing that, they went and signed her, and it's like saying that out of all the Joshis right now, they've seen her as the best of having all of those qualities that they need for you to be a diva or the best women's wrestler in their eye in that company. And so it's kind of like crazy, but it's, it's weird that it's been such a gap in between them signing Joshis. I think it was back like 2001. They had Takako Inoue, who is known as a tag team partner of Kyoko Inoue, as Double Inoue. She did a tryout match, and they put her in there with an inexperienced diva, and the match bombed, and they didn't sign her. And I don't know if you guys ever seen Takako Inoue, but Takako Inoue at the time, if they had signed her, she would have fitted. She's freaking gorgeous, and the way she works in the ring, she would have fit in just fine. And after that, they didn't even think about bothering looking at the Joshis. So she'd be the first one signed since Bull Nakano, and to me, that's a big thing. I wish there wasn't such a gap like that.
I want to thank Triple H for that one.
Do you think she's going, how limited do you think she's going to be? Because I think it's one thing when you bring a guy like Hideo Itami over, he can still be a little stiff because he's working in with the guys, but you bring in Asuka, and she really can't be as stiff with the girls because obviously, one, elbow from her, and one of the girls is either going to get busted open or they're going to complain. So how limited do you think they're going to make her?
Let's not forget who she's working with, too, in her first match, Dana Brooke.
Well, true. Of course, she's definitely going to be limited. I don't think they're going to take her everything in her arsenal from her. I think, if anything, they're going to work on her with, you can do your kicking, your elbows and whatever, but tone it down a bit. Don't make it so hard looking to where it actually frightens people. Like, you could still have the sound effect, but not to the point where, fans are actually scared that you've actually injured a Dana Brooke or you've hurt Emma. They're going to do that. I think they did the same thing with Hideo Itami. He still has the aggression behind it, but it's not like, a couple of years ago where it was a joke of do not kick Kenta. It's not like that now. When I watch NXT and I see Hideo Itami, I'm like, oh, he's a calmer, gentler Kenta. And I think that's what's going to happen with Asuka is everybody's going to say, well, it's still Kana, but she's just, kind of like a little bit reformed. And the good thing is that in NXT they have Sarah Del Rey there as, one of the head coaches, and her and Asuka did train together in a dojo, so they had that familiarity with each other and also with their work in Shimmer. So I'm pretty sure she can sit up and tell her, like, hey, tone this down, tone that down. And over the past couple of years, she's been still hard-hitting, but not to the extremes as she was years ago. Years ago was actually kind of frightening. I think it was like 2011, I want to say. She had really built up a reputation of, like, people were actually, like, scared to work with her. So I think over the years she's toned it down, and I think that's all they really need to do is just to calm it down with her.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see what she's got for us wrestling fans at NXT Takeover Respect event. I know a lot of people give Dana Brooke shit, but I don't know. I like that girl for some reason. I think I like her character more than her skills. But before we let you go, what Japanese girls should me and Oscar look out for at the Stardom USA show? Because it's my first time actually gonna witness some Japanese girls wrestle.
Have you guys ever? You guys look at Joshi's?
I watched a couple Stardom.
I watched. Yeah, I saw something like in Daily Motion and stuff. I mean, the one you mentioned earlier that's injured, what's her name? Sunfire. She's. I'm familiar with her, but you just broke the news to me about her injury. I'm like, shit. Damn it.
Yeah, Sunfire. She's a luchador from Mexico.
Yeah, the luchador. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys ever heard of? I know a lot of people on the internet pronounce it Io Shirai, but it's actually Io Shirai. Have you guys ever heard about her?
Yes.
Okay.
She is awesome. Wasn't she once a tag champ with Kana?
I believe she was tag team champion with her sister Mio. But her and Kana and Mio were in a stable together as Triple Tails.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm confusing with. I know I saw a lot of stuff with her and Kana and her sister.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure, but she's awesome. She was obviously somebody, when I saw that she was coming, I was like, people are going to love her.
I think that they should book for the Stardom USA dates. I think they should put Io Shirai against Mia Yim. I just think that one would just be just completely awesome. Another one.
I'm gonna tell you the girl who I know. I think you spell her name Kairihojo. Is how you spell her last name?
Kairi.
I'm not sure how you say her name. Yeah,
Kairi
I've
Hojo.
seen her. Wasn't she like the champ?
She's one half of the Artists of Stardom tag team champions, but that title looks like it's retired now since one of the members got fired a month ago. So she's another one to look out for. She is awesome. I think she's really just getting better and better with her match series against Maiko Satomura over in Japan. It's just been completely awesome. And she really kind of like her match against Hudson Envy, they went toe-to-toe.
My girl.
Yeah, and talk about Hudson Envy. Hudson Envy is just completely awesome. This run for her over in Japan has really just kicked ass. And they have built her up to be the monster heel in that promotion like no other with this past tournament. And it's worked wonders. And it's looking so good. And I can't even complain about the booking. It's that good.
You know, Sierra, I think I know which girl I'm talking about now. Lo Shira? Is that you say her name?
Lo Shira? How you spell it?
L-O. It's the one that starts with it. Oh, okay, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, L-O, and her last name was S-H-I-R-A-I?
You mean Io Shirai?
Yeah, that's the one I think. Wasn't she the champ?
She's the Wonder of Stardom champion.
Yeah, that's who that's probably the only girl that I've like watched matches from, Stardom, to be honest with you. And I'm not probably familiar with her opponents, but because she's the main one I was watching, So, but we're already familiar with Thunder Rosa, we see that.
There's one name I'm familiar with that's on the show, Chris Wolf. I'm familiar with her. She's also going to be part of the show when she comes to California.
Yeah, Chris is pretty awesome. I really want to see them do more with her in this next year, and I think with this Stardom USA thing can help her break in the indies over here in the United States. I like what they're doing with her in Stardom, but eventually when her contract is up, which I've been told is not too long from now, she's going to need some other bookings, and I think this would be a good way. And Thunder Rosa, I don't know too much about Thunder Rosa until she got booked for Stardom, and I saw some of the matches. I liked them, and then when I watched the Gold Rush pro wrestling show from like a couple weekends ago, that really impressed me because it really showed me that the reason why she went to Japan wasn't just to go to Japan. Like, she deserved to be there, and you can really see that going over there for those couple of months has really brought out the passion in her. Another one you guys need to look out for is Mayu Iwatani. She is tag team partners with Io Shirai. They're the Goddesses of Stardom tag team champions. Mayu is... I think Mayu is very technical in the ring, and she does this sweet dragon suplex. Like, she picks you up, and she catches you, and she, like, holds you there, and then she goes over. It's just, the way she just does the bridge off that is just really awesome. Another one, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Akya Sakawa.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with her. She was, like, makeup, or face paint, like red face paint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
She's going to be working the shows. I know she returned about almost 2 weeks ago, and I don't know who they're going to put her against, since she just returned to the ring after the whole incident back in February. But she's another one to watch out for. They don't have much of their talent booked for the show, or at least they haven't announced. But
yeah, it's because it's crazy. I have a friend, and he mentioned he was like, "There's too many American girls are getting booked."
Well, I think that's kind of like what they're going for, because they're really trying to push this Stardom USA branch with, you know, Cheerleader Melissa and Medusa backing this. They're really trying to set up shop with this going forward and bring in more, you know, talent from the United States into Stardom and kind of like have their own. I don't know if this is going to be a promotion, or this is going to just be a branch that they have in the United States to bring in girls and, you know, cycle them out or whatever. I'm not sure if this is going to be the same thing with Chigesa's Nagaya's Marvelous. I'm not sure. But they've got a lot of American talent booked, and I guess that's what they're going for, but it should be a good show.
All I know, for some reason, I want to see Cheerleader Melissa and Hudson Envy go at it again, because last time I saw them wrestle was at AWS, and it was like I want to say it was no disqualification match, and those girls killed each other, and yeah, it's like they kind of have a rival going on. I believe it also carried on to Stardom, right?
Yeah, it carried over to Stardom, and I think that rivalry just stopped after that match, which is kind of disappointing, because I was kind of following with myself. From the way it looks, just the people they have announced, I wouldn't be surprised if Cheerleader Melissa or Santana Garrett is in the main event. And I think the main event is going to be one or the other taking on either Io Shirai or Kairi Ojo, because Kairi is the recent World of Stardom champion, and Maiko Satomura won't be on these shows because she's not contracted talent with Stardom. She's freelance. So that's possibly going to be a main event. I've been told that one of the main events for one of the shows might be a tag team match. I'm not sure who's that going to be, but it should be a good show. I just wish that, you know, next time they do this, they get more up-and-coming names that need that exposure from the, you know, something like this, and not have to rely on your big names for these shows. You know, I mean, I'm fine with Cheryl Melissa because I know she's ambassador for Stardom USA, but I just feel like next time around you really got to nail it home that it's just not for the flashy names, it's for other people. Like, you know, Brittany Wonder, I would like to see her come back again. I actually would like to see Brittany Wonder go overseas for a tour of Japan. I would like to
possibility.
It should be, and I hope to God that when they announce the next tour dates in January, she's right along with it. It's worked wonders for Hudson Envy. She's been invited back. Maybe I think this is her second or third. Heidi Lovelace had amazing, matches overseas on her tours. It worked wonders for Thunder Rosa and with Santana
Thunder
Garrett
Rosa, she actually told me.
Mhm.
I think his mic broke out, but yeah. Well, I'm surprised that they didn't put Heidi Lovelace in this show. I'm very surprised on that one.
Yeah, well, maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe it's weird thing. I know one complaint I had about this is that the weekend they chose to do this was right after Shimmer tapings. And I don't know, maybe it's just me as a fan. I just felt like it's a little bit too close. Maybe they should announce did this a whole nother time when people had more time to plan. Like, I think they should have did this in November. There's not much wrestling going on in November. It's holiday time. Why not do it in November? And I think Stardom only has one big show in November, so they could have did it then. This month, they've crammed these 2 dates in along with 2 dates they had before these shows. And then after these shows in the United States, they got another date to do back in Japan. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe because how the California scene is, because October is a packed month, and there's nothing really going on in November.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say this.
WWE coming in town here. You also have WWE coming
I was
in
also going to say.
in October.
I was also going to say, they probably want to hurry up and do shows for PWG announcers and show, because they should be coming back soon. So,
do you think they're going to have a show in November?
Nah,
I have a source telling me. I mean, I'm not going to give it out there, but possibly till December. That's when PWG will do their next show.
Well, the reason why I say November is because, based on my schedule, I really don't have that many dates for wrestling of, here in the United States. I more so have dates from, over Japan, JWP, Stardom, Marvelous, overseas, and stuff like that. It's not necessarily here in the United States. That's why I said maybe if they did it in November with better planning, people could have saved up and actually went to this. But
I for sure would have went to PWG and Stardom the same weekend if they did it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think
I have a question for you though.
Mhm.
When are you coming out here to SoCal to catch some Pro Wrestling Guerrilla with us?
Gee, I don't know. I'm hoping one day soon because I would really love to go to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. I've heard complaints about how hot it gets in the building and how small it is.
Well, that's summertime. That's summertime,
but
yeah.
But to me, it's just that comes with the experience. If I was a frequent person that goes every time they had a show, I would be like, oh my God, I cannot take this heat exhaustion. Eventually I would be like that.
You know who I would say? Ask Brian.
Yeah, I want to go one day, and hopefully soon I can go because I just want to have the experience. Just sitting there that close to the ring. If anybody's flying, I'm getting out of the way. I've had that happen to me at a Ring of Honor show. For whatever reason, Charlie Haas got tossed in the guardrails and almost flew up into us, and that was just too much for me. I was just like, you were too big and I'm too small. This is I don't like this.
Well, whenever you decide to come, we'll welcome you here, and hopefully you'll enjoy California. We'll make you enjoy California, put it that way.
Sure, I'll be there. I probably will wear a Pro Wrestling Pondering shirt, because got a plug or some girly shirt or whatever. Cause
we're always kicking it with Brian. Actually, it's crazy because Excalibur was like, if there's any front row seats open, just move to the front row. And I told Brian, just come here. He was because usually I'm sitting front row and there's nobody sitting next to me. I was like, Brian, just come here. So he kind of sat next to me at one of the bowler shows. So it was pretty fun hanging out with him.
Ryan's cool. Oh, a lot of you guys at the Pro Wrestling Conference is cool. I was skeptical about joining the site because I didn't know anybody from there except for Kevin. And I've gotten along with everybody pretty much. You know, you guys are cool too.
Oh, so, thanks. We appreciate it.
Hey, you know how I found you guys, Sloan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what happened to her, but
I don't know. She disappeared. I heard from her like a while ago, and then she disappeared. But hey.
Yeah. It's crazy because we made a shirt, and it had her name on there. Back, you know.
And then she just disappeared?
Yeah.
Gosh. So what is going on, woman?
Yeah, I was actually looking for her on Raw because Raw was at Buffalo, so I was wondering if she was at Raw. So. Oh, well.
I don't know. I haven't seen her tweet like that. I don't think she gets on social media as much these days, but then again, I really don't like pay attention to my timeline unless like I'm going through for like news items or I have to like tweet something or whatever. So I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, Sierra, before we let you go, you wanna give out like where the folks can like read your stuff, your Twitter and all the good stuff, and throw some plugs out?
Sure. First and foremost, I write the Ring Bells Roundup on ProWrestlingPonderings.com. I post it every Wednesday. I cover everything in women's wrestling that there is to be covered. I cover results. I get matches and all kinds of stuff. And that comes up every Wednesday. You can go right to ProWrestlingPonderings.com. It should usually be on the first page. If not, you go to my Twitter account, which is CIARA92189, and I always tweet out a link to it for anybody to read. So if you follow me, you see the link, click on it, read it. I write a lot, but I like to be in-depth and not cut corners.
And I see you also have a Tumblr, too. Do you write on there, too?
No, I actually keep my Tumblr just pictures. I don't know. I wanted to start doing writing on there, but Tumblr is so weird. Like, the internet is weird as it is, but Tumblr is really catty. Like, if you just put out your opinion and all of a sudden you get all these hearts and just all these random reblogs of people just, like, cursing you out and stuff, I'm just like, no. But I just keep it just pictures, but my Tumblr is hikarushidas.tumblr.com, which is HIKARUSHIDAS.tumblr.com.
Definitely. Well, I'm glad you finally came on here and talked some wrestling with us. And
I told you I was coming.
Yeah, you did. You definitely told me. You was like, I'll come soon. You didn't say when, but
I know.
you
I told
came.
you. But I told you a while ago I would be on. I just got so freaking sidetracked, and you know, the whole situation at Pro Wrestling Ponderings, where we're all changing co-hosts and stuff like that, and I was trying to figure out like what's going on with that, and you know, personal life stuff too. But I told you I was coming. I'm never a person like, if somebody asks me to do something or they invite me to do something, I'm not the type of person that just blows people off. Like, I'll be there.
Definitely. Well, it was nice having you on, and I definitely appreciate you coming on. Yeah, definitely. And you're more than welcome to call anytime.
Sure, I will. It's kind of funny. I haven't called Blog Talk in years. Like, we used to do it every week on angrymarks.com, and then a couple of years later we just stopped. And so, like, when I called and I heard the lady talking, yes, dude, I remember one episode I did a rant on the lady that puts you on hold. I went off on her, and then it was freaking like shuffling and buffering and all that stuff. Oh God.
Yeah, Blog Talk is still shit. It won't even play some of our fucking breaks, you know, when we put on like our little commercials. Like, like we have some good ones, and we can't even play them.
But you know that they did when we were on Blog Talk, it was the buffering and stuff, like, during live shows. And then it started that with the commercials. And I think Blog Talk doesn't realize, like, they can lose. They've lost a lot of podcasts due to the shenanigans that they have going on.
We find a new home here on the Elite Podcast Network, and that's affordable, we will definitely be out of here.
Like, that's why a lot of people went to different places, like Podomatic, but Podomatic, I think they have a bandwidth, like, limitation. I'm not sure. And, like, some people have, like, started, like, just recording their shows through Skype on Audacity and then editing it and throwing the commercial stuff in there. But the one thing that sucks with that sometimes is that, like, you can't actually go live. And I think you can go live. I'm not sure. I haven't done much research on it, but I think you can go live with Google Plus and do your Google Hangouts. But
yeah, that was one that we were talking about.
Yeah, that, and then, you can just, cut the audio from that and just edit in whatever you need to edit in. But then again, if you do that and you're going live, you can push the button for your commercials and it'd be right there. It's all done. But, hey, Blog Talk, like, come on. I left you guys back in 2011, and you're still crap?
Yeah.
Come on,
I think it got worse.
I think she didn't like the rejection.
It's crazy because Tom, he usually rants on Blog Talk. It looks like you're taking over the ranting first.
I will still rant on Blog Talk every day of the week.
Oh my God!
In 2015, get your shit together, Blog Talk Radio.
Like, I mean, it's just like, it shouldn't have to be the same way. Like, when I called in and I heard that lady speak, I'm like, you mean this bitch is still here? Like, they haven't changed her?
Blog Talk Radio almost fucked up my interview with Donovan Dijak. I was about to be so fucking pissed. But luckily, we saved it and we got it fixed. But that's Blog Talk for you.
Before you go, I have to mention this because I know you're a big Joshi fan.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that I cannot recognize Paul Nakano anymore? She looks amazing. Like, I remember somebody showed me a picture of her about a year ago, and I'm like, that's not Paul Nakano. What are you talking about?
Yeah. She's always been gorgeous without makeup. The first time I seen her without makeup was, I think they're all taken down off of YouTube. Somebody had, like, uploaded all of Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, like, VHS tapes from the 90s. And she was backstage, and she's sitting there, and I'm sitting there, who the heck is that? Like, she is gorgeous. And then when I started seeing her do the I'm like, oh, my God, you've been doing this to your face, and you look like that? Like,
yeah. And it's
she's
funny,
gorgeous.
I ranted, well, not ranted, but I mentioned a while back when the whole, I think it was after the Sasha Banks Bayley match, everyone was like, this is the greatest women's wrestling match ever. I'm like, whoa. Go back to the 90s, watch the 90s All Japan Women, and then come back and talk to me.
Watch the All Japan Women, throw in some Shimmer there, throw in some, I would even go as far as throw in some stuff from the 90s Independence. Like, those are some of the matches I wish people would upload, was like women's matches from the 90s Independence. Like, I think some people get so hyped up on divas when they actually have a good match, and they'll go, it's the greatest of all time, and I'd just be sitting there like, so you mean Manami Toyota has just been killing it for almost over 20 years for no reason? Like,
I was gonna say, because I was thinking, I was like, I think Manami Toyota had like a better match with like a bruise. No,
like she has how many 5-star matches?
Yeah,
what?
It's just Manami Toyota I consider to be one of the best, if not the best, women's wrestler of all time. I mean,
she's up there on my list, but I don't know. Like, maybe I'm biased because Akira Hokuto is my favorite, but Akira to me is the most innovative and just all around just awesome. And I don't think she gets the credit she deserves at all from not just Japanese audience still has respect for her and still look at her as that big star that she was, which is so crazy because she hasn't been in the spotlight since, like, 99. And over here in American audience, like, they'll soon throw out, like, Buonakana, Aja Kong, and I'm like, yeah, they were all greats and they're all right, but you guys kind of forgetting that, there's Akira Hokuto who was just fucking just amazing. Like, a lot of the stuff, if you go back and watch her older stuff from, like, All Japan, like when she was, like, when she was with the LCO, Mima Shimoda and Etsuko Mito, a lot of stuff she was doing in the ring, and then you go look at TNA's, like, X Division from, like, the early years, and I just feel like, I swore I seen Akira doing that. It was very innovative. Just a lot of stuff she was doing was so completely different then, and now to see that it's had an influence on today's stars, and she doesn't get the credit she deserves, and I think that some fans got to realize that there's a lot of great women's wrestlers. You just don't hear about them. That's why I go and research them. That's what led me to a lot of these women.
Agree.
Yeah. I would definitely have to look into some of those girls you mentioned. But yeah.
Yeah, like I can give you a whole freaking list. Like
send me something through the direct message.
I will. I will give you a whole list. You just have to look them up. Like you just copy and paste and enjoy.
Definitely. Well, again, Sierra, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show. It was awesome talking to you about some women's wrestling. Maybe next time when you come on, we could talk about some of the guys.
Hey, no problem. I'm a little rusty when it comes to guys because, I usually don't pay attention to them as much as I want to, but I'm able to have a conversation about them. I mean, I might throw in stuff from, like, 2001.
Hey, I'm with it. It
was the best time.
Yeah, it definitely was. And some of those guys are still around too.
Yeah, weird. They're like everybody's dad now. Like, what the heck? Go away. But thank you guys for having me.
All right, Sarah. I guess we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. See you guys.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Good night. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sierra from PW Ponderings. It was awesome time to talk about women's wrestling here on WHRADIO. Usually, when we talk women's wrestling, we usually bury the majority of the girls, like Nikki Bella and chicks like that. But we talked about some real shit today.
That's what I kind of hate is that like I said, I still have so much more to watch, and I watch it from time to time. Like I said, that all Japan's women from the 90s. I'm telling you, if you've never seen anything from it, you could probably find some on YouTube or whatever. You have to watch it. It may be some of the best wrestling you ever seen. I mean, not just women's. I mean, the best wrestling. Dave Meltzer, who's been covering wrestling since the 70s, he says it's, those women in all Japan were putting on some of the best matches better than the men. So it's crazy to think about, especially because Japanese wrestling in the 90s was, they were killing it. They were absolutely killing it. But it's good to talk. There's a couple of big women's events coming up. So it's good. It's good to see that. Good to see the ladies get some love.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to kind of switch gears before we go off air. NXT, they're having their takeover. I'm pretty sure we'll throw in our predictions next week. But NXT, their tournament is definitely been pretty good in my hands. In my eyes. You guys' thoughts on your early prediction on like who you think is gonna win the whole thing?
Well, I'm not liking my pick, but I'm thinking Baron Corbin and Rhino is gonna win the whole thing. So when I look at the last four, it's like I don't see Joe and Finn Balor winning it. I see Joe or Balor. I don't know. I want to say Joe backstabbing them, but when they lose, they probably will get into it, and that will lead to the next takeover when the match.
I'm calling it right now. I don't know.
I was going to say, is Gable
yeah,
and
this is how it's
Jason
looking.
Jordan still in?
Yeah, they're going to get Rhino and Baron Corbin, and I think they're going to win. And I also think Scott Dawson and Dash is going to win too, and I think they're going to go at it because if you look back on NXT, they kind of had like a little backstage promo arguing with each other. That's your finals right there, in my opinion.
I don't know. Because they had a backstage thing doesn't mean
you got to think about your tag team division before you think about guys that are singles guys.
Because you have to think that Enzo and Cass are going to be on the main roster sooner than later. I don't know when, but it looks like they're probably going to be, I don't want to say by the end of the year, if not by early next year. They're going to be up there soon, so you can't put the titles on them just to take them off. And, I see a lot of people complaining. They're like, man, the Vaudevillains have the titles and Enzo and Cass don't. Enzo and Cass don't need the titles. Some people don't forget about that some guys don't need titles to get them over. Enzo and Cass are over enough on their own to where they don't need titles. Guys like the Vaudevillains and Chad Gable and Jason Jordan and the Mechanics, they, I think, need the titles a little bit more to give them a little bit more recognition. But Enzo and Cass are so over.
But the thing is, like, Scott Dawson and Dash and Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, like, those two teams, I mean, I'm going to think, if they win the finals of this Dusty Rhodes Classic, you are going to get a tag team title shot. So, but either one of those teams is capable of, like, winning, and there's no complaint from no fan, in my opinion, because I feel like those are the best tag teams right now in the division. So, but we'll see what happens. I know Rhino and Baron Corbin, they've been, killing it. I have a feeling that they're going to get upset. Real quick, Johnny Gargano. There's a lot of rumors that he's going to be having his last match at the iPay-Per-View Evolve 49 on October 17th against Ethan Page, and his I Quit match, and if Gargano match, he has to walk away from WWE Live, and this talks about him going full time with NXT. You guys' thoughts?
Well, if he is signed with WWE, then it's obviously this is going to be his last match, and obviously his last match is going to be with freaking Ethan Page. And if that's the case, how big is this for Ethan Page? Ending Johnny Gargano's WWN career.
Ethan Page and Gargano have like a big independent wrestling period feud, like not just in in Evolve, like you can go to AIW to AAW.
I'm talking about Ethan Page and WWN. It would be huge for him in there,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and in Johnny Gargano's career, he's been in that company for like years. And then you end his career. That's something got to be huge for him. That's something that you can add in his resume.
Definitely, though.
Yeah. All the signs kind of point. It's going to be tough because AAW. He's the head trainer there, and he's still doing training sessions. So it's like, what happens with that? There's been nothing said by AIW about Johnny wrestling his last match or anything, but, a lot of signs point to him being signed full-time. Tommaso Ciampa probably as well. Like I said, they both had singles matches this week on NXT. So it's definitely weird because, if they are both indeed signed full-time, those are two big names on the indie scene lost. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, those are two big names gone. Biff Busick, gone. Chuck Taylor, probably going to WWE too, even though he says he's retiring, but I I don't believe Chuck Taylor. But if he gets signed, he's gone. That's four huge names for independent wrestling gone. So
that means it's time for guys to step up.
Yeah, it's kind of a
and I think a couple guys already have, like Mike Bailey.
Yeah, and it's definitely weird because it's a double-edged sword. Because at one point, you're losing big names. These guys, I think, it started to draw in a lot of people. Like a guy like Biff Busick definitely started really, really getting noticed, and then people, started coming out to see what he could do because of the hype, and then within a moment's notice, gone. But then, just like you said, guys like Mike Bailey, Trevor Lee.
Trevor Lee too.
Trevor Lee's only 22, and he's already killing it. The guy is absolutely insane. I could see
just
him
work beyond.
Yeah, I could see him really being one of the big focal points of indie wrestling. He's on WWE Live. He's on Beyond Wrestling. He's at PWG. He's getting booked in AAW. He's getting booked in, Smash Wrestling. He's getting booked all over the place. And he's, like I said, the guy is 22. The guy is as old as me. It is crazy. He's going to have a really long, successful career. But like I said, one of the downsides is that, William Regal, if he goes to PWG and he sees Trevor Lee, he has a talk with him. He says, "Oh, how old are you?" And say this is even a couple of years from now, and he's like, "Oh, I'm 24." William Regal's going to be like, "I'm going to snatch this guy up. He's only 24 and he can do this stuff. This guy could be in my company for 15 years." So
right.
It's crazy, but, like I always say, I'm always happy for the indie guys whenever they get signed, no matter what happens, even if they just get a little shot on NXT. It doesn't matter. It's all good because they'll make more money either way, and, that's the big picture.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you guys a real question. What do you guys think of Andrew Everett going to TNA? He's going to be in that Ultimate X match at Bound for Glory this Sunday.
It's only a one-time thing.
I was going to say, I don't think it's like a regular deal.
It's only because they're in North Carolina.
I know, but, one time it's pretty cool. Check out his Ultimate X match. You got Digger Uno, Andrew Everett. I want to say, I don't think he's no longer Madnick, but he's going to be T.J. Perkins because he took off his mask. And,
it's funny because T.J. Perkins buried TNA. It's because somebody tweeted, didn't TNA already unmasked at Manic, whatever his Twitter handle is. And when Hogan was there, he was like, yeah. He was like, I guess it's wrong with the writers.
The writing thing, I know.
Yeah. He kind of buried him. Buried his own writing team.
No offense to TNA, but like I said, I think Andrew Everett's smart enough to kind of, if they want to bring him in for a one-time deal, like I said, they're only doing it because they're in North Carolina. And they could say, oh, we need somebody for this Ultimate X match who's a high flyer in North Carolina. Oh, Andrew Everett, perfect. Come on in. We'll pay you for one show and that's it. Even if I don't even think they're going to pay him, but.
Real quick before we go off, also, guys, Daniel Bryan scheduled for WWE events in November, so there's no real information on what he's doing, but that's the European live events, so they don't know exactly what's going on, but he is going to be a part of those shows, so looking forward to see what Daniel Bryan.
Did we talk about Hornswoggle getting suspended 30 days?
That's irrelevant. That's like us talking about Sonny.
He's going to get released. He's going to get released because WWE pulled the trademark on his name. So I think that's funny. Like Hornswoggle getting suspended. Like what?
What do you know? Smoking weed or what?
Probably. But I'm pretty sure if you get caught with marijuana, you only get a fine. Like, I think you get a fine or something like that. Like, for them to be doing all this, it had to be something else. I'm pretty sure I saw that if you get caught with marijuana, it's like a $1,000 fine or something, and maybe a suspension. I mean,
ask Randy Orton about it.
Yeah, but I mean, when Randy Orton got caught, that was years and years ago. I think companies are becoming more lenient on marijuana because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, come on, it really isn't that big of a deal. Come on, I forget somebody mentioned it. I forget who it was, but a wrestler mentioned it on a shoot interview. They're like, all these wrestling companies punish you for smoking weed, but they won't punish you for popping, painkillers 24/7. So it's like, what would you rather have? And then, people wonder why, these wrestlers are keeling over at 40 and 50 years old. It's because they're popping painkillers because, you get in trouble with weed. So, I don't know, but...
I know. It's dumb, too. I know in my job, if I had weed in my system, I'm fired.
So I'm taking it that your job does random drug tests?
Well, it depends. So, and it also sucks that if I get a DUI, I get fired, too. So, that sucks. That's why I wish I had a friend that could drive.
I see. Real quick.
Anyway.
John Cena not advertised for several events after Raw due to family personal issues, basically personal. So his personal stuff. So John Cena will be MIA after Hell in a Cell. So for the John Cena fans, your U.S. champion will be MIA. The question is, who is John Cena going to face in Hell in a Cell? Like, they haven't really put him in a feud yet.
I heard a rumor they're planning to put him against Sheamus. That's the rumor I heard, but like I said, that's just a rumor.
At least that rumor sounds better than him feuding with Ziggler over fucking Nikki.
Yeah.
Real quick before we go off air, this weekend, I believe there's two independent events. AIW, right?
Yep. Girls Night Out 16 and Fresh Meat.
Yeah.
Going down in Cleveland this weekend. I mean...
Johnny Gargano versus Amazing Red.
Yeah, I saw that AIW announced that on their Twitter. That's a big matchup, and I'm surprised that Amazing Red doesn't get booked more in in different indies. He's a little bit older, but I think Amazing Red can still go. But you got two great shows.
Yeah, this is actually at the October 16th, so Terry Funk is also part of that too, which is crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe that guy is still even working. He's got to be, in his freaking mid-70s. It's nuts. But like I said, we were talking about all this great women's wrestling and Girls Night Out 16. You got Athena, Candice LeRae, Veda Scott, LuFisto, Allison Kay, Heidi Lovelace,
Blue Pants.
Tessa Blanchard, Crazy Mary Dobson. So many talented women. I'm hoping that AEW draws a big crowd for this.
Veda Scott.
Yeah, I hope they draw a decent sized crowd for this. They definitely deserve it. And then later that night, I believe Girls Night Out starts at 3:00, and then Fresh Meat is at 7:30. And then Fresh Meat is a whole bunch of new guys going against, some of the AEW regulars like Ricky Shane Page, Eddie Kingston, Johnny Gargano. I said Johnny Gargano. But yeah, so two big shows from AEW coming up this weekend, back to back. If you're in the Cleveland area, make sure to check them out. It should be a fun time.
Another show coming up too, real quick, and then we're gonna go up here. AAW October 9th for the AAW Heavyweight Championship. We just talked about these two. Ethan Page putting his title on the line, going against Johnny Gargano. The Hooligans will be part of this event. Tyson going against Eddie Kingston. Heidi Lovelace and Candice LeRae against Havoc and Tessa Blanchard. Just to name a few matches. So AAW doing big shit too. People need to start showing them some love. Me and Yum is actually going to be a part of that event too. She'll be going against
AAW, another company doing big things. You know, they're putting up fresh matchups, putting on new champions, and it's good to see. You know, we talk about it, Midwest. You know, they're doing some big things out there, so it's good to see. And of course, you know, AAW and AIW both got streaming services for anybody interested. AIW Archives.
Speaking about streaming services, how about Beyond Wrestling?
Yeah, I was going to mention that when we did our plugs. But yeah, actually, this one's straight up on YouTube, youtube.com/Beyond on Demand or Beyond Demand. I forget. If you go to Beyond Wrestling's Twitter, twitter.com/.
It's all over the timeline right now.
Yeah, so they
pretty
have,
good so far.
Like individual matches. They have full shows up there. It's awesome. It's awesome to see, you know, another company getting into the streaming business. And it's, like I said, it's right there up on YouTube. All you got to do is, you know, pay a little money. And
Progress Wrestling?
Yeah. Progress, Smash Wrestling.
WWE Network?
Fuck the WWE Network. WWE sucks.
No, the WWE Network. WWE Network is pretty good so far. I'm liking some of the new shows they put on.
Fuck the WWE. That's why their ratings are dropping.
Did you see the network? Hold on, real quick before you bury. Did you see the? I know I should probably say when the New Day are at the dinner table, just talking, the shooting.
No, I haven't seen that one.
You guys have to see that. And I think there's gonna be another one with. It's gonna be another one with Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and somebody else at the dinner table just talking. And it's basically shooting.
Good. I hope Cesaro buries the fuck out of WWE and then leaves for New Japan.
Oh my God.
I hope Cesaro just buries the shit out of everybody.
Somebody before he ends the fucking show. I love it though.
I hope he just buries. I hope he buries Vince McMahon. I hope he buries everybody and then just leaves for New Japan and becomes the next AJ Styles and wins the title.
You're funny. Well, I do recommend you guys to check out the one with the New Day. They basically talk about, you know, their characters or, you know, how the fans, you know, didn't like this and like how Kofi Kingston said he was shocked that kids are now starting to boo him. They're basically talking, you know, they talked as, you know, they were on a podcast with us, you know. Yeah, you know, so check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and put WWE over, and I'm looking forward to their other shows. But we are kind of running out of time here at Wrestling Heads Radio. Again, we want to thank Allie Parker. Also want to thank Sierra for calling up to talk some women's wrestling with us. And we'll be back next week here on Wrestling Heads Radio. Be sure to tune in. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Heads. WrestlingHeads.com is a website. ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingHeads. I'm WH Skits on Twitter. You can follow me. And follow everybody here on the Elite Podcast Network.
All right. Then you can follow me at Sinister632 on Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. This Saturday I'll be at IWL. I have Wrestling Heads t-shirts. All they have is large and extra large. So if you want another size, just go to ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingHeads. Then you can find us your size there. And we also have the new Wrestling Heads shirt on there too. The Wrestling Heads is everybody. So if you want to get one, go for it. And check out WrestlingHeads.com. And just can't wait for Monday and also other shows coming up with guests like Thunder Rosa, Chaos, and Brittany Wonder.
Yep, and you can follow me on Twitter at @2tweetme. Same thing for Periscope. Trying to get back into the tweeting game. but it's definitely tough. But follow me on there, follow you back. Make sure you guys are checking out everything independent wrestling like we were talking about, smartmarkvideo.com, highspots.com, all the different on-demand services, which we talk about every week. Check them out. Check out everybody like Skid said on the Elite Podcast Network, Weekly Wrestling Podcasts. Follow them on Twitter at Weekly. Eyes on the Ring should be coming up Sunday night, so make sure you guys check that out. Should be another. They always put up an interesting show with True God and Nathan and everybody else. So if you are up on Sunday night, you got something to listen to.
Can't forget about Mike and Tom and the Allie Parker too. So shout out to them. But we're gonna head out, and thanks for everybody for listening to the show, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. YouTube.com/WrestlingHeads. And we're out. Peace.